My name is Milan Valentin, and I'm the Executive Director for the African American Community Service Agency. And this is my beautiful co-chair and host, Miss
Queen Anne Cannon.
Queen Anne. Her mother really named her Queen Anne. She's a queen. We welcome you on behalf of the African American Community Service Agency Board of Directors to the 36th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Luncheon. We would like to thank our corporate sponsors, San Francisco 49ers, Comcast, Silicon Valley Community Foundation, the County of Santa Clara, our amazing table sponsors, the San Jose State University, my alma mater, Santa Clara University, Unity Care, Asian Americans for Community Involvement, Yellow and Checker Cabs, and a host of other organizations that are present. If you supported the agency and the Dr. King Luncheon, let me hear some noise. Now you spent a lot of money for those tickets. Let me hear some noise. Well, we welcome you today. We want to thank you all for coming to celebrate Dr. King's legacy. Today, we want to also celebrate the queen behind the key. Because next to every strong man, such as Dr. King, there is a strong queen. And we want to make sure we recognize her today. And we also want to make sure that we recognize Miss Iola Williams, who is here with us today. We did not forget about you. We do know our history here in San Jose. So we brought her all the way back to honor her and the honorees today. We're going to go ahead and call up Congresswoman Zoe Loughran, 19th District, with special words to Miss Iola.
Well, good afternoon. What a glorious day. You know, I'm so honored to be able to be here for so many reasons. You know, this morning started early for me out in a little elementary school, and there were hundreds of volunteers on a day of service because so much of what Martin Luther King Day is about is a day of service. And as I looked at those volunteers, I actually told them this, I wish you could see yourself because everyone there really exemplified the diversity of San Jose, the pride that we have in the diversity that we have here. And so Martin Luther King Day is about service, but it's also about remembering and honoring those who helped make our country greater, starting with Martin Luther King, but also including Councilwoman Iola Williams. Now, I have a letter I want to present, but before I do that, I would like to ask my cohort, my partner here, Congressman Mike Honda, who we work together constantly in this battle. I'd like him to say a few words and then we'll present the letter.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to share the stage with my friend Zoe Loughran. Let me just say a real quick word about both Iola and George. Without Iola, I would not be here. Without the dream and the work of Martin Luther King Jr., I would not be here in Congress. Let's just face it, they paved the way for a lot of folks, and we took that road. And then once we took that road, we started to making our own pathways. And so to Martin Luther King, thank you for instructing me through your last sermon, Remaining Awake During the Revolution. Where you talked about a man, a person of conscience has to do the right thing all the time. That's my guide. And so Iola, thank you for allowing me to be your principal, because sometimes the administration didn't really like the way I was doing things, but she kept my posterior as a principal, and everything I learned in Franklin McKinley School District, I applied to the Congress. And you'll have folks like the Little Heroes guys who are working with youngsters. So let me just say, thank God for all those who came before me, and I stand on your shoulders. Thank you.
I would just like to close by saying how proud we are in Congress of Iola Williams. You know, it's especially for the younger people here, hard to remember that it wasn't that easy in the 70s to step forward. Iola Williams was the first African American ever to be elected to the City Council in San Jose. She served as vice mayor twice. She, before that, was elected to the school board where, as Mike mentioned, she took brave stands because she focused on the students and their opportunity. I remember, for those of you who've been around a while, when we worked for Iola, we said she was the UNCOLA. And for those of you who were voters, then you know what that meant. She was a breath of fresh air. She was also part of something else in this valley, part of what Janet Gray Hayes said, our mayor, of being the feminist capital of the world. We had majorities of women on the San Jose City Council, on the Board of Supervisors. All the 15 cities had a large number of women. So I just can't overstate the role that Iola played for all of us, for this city, for this valley. And so I would like to present her with this letter of recognition and congratulations from the United States Congress. Thank you, Iola, and I'll bring it down to you.
And she's smart as a whip. I've been talking to her almost every day. So now we are going to honor a woman that I have learned about since I came here to San Jose State. And the Lifetime Achievement Award is not given out every year. It's given out ever so often. And when they were doing the Black Legends Award, we were learning a lot about Silicon Valley and who built this area and who fought for rights. And when two women names, two ladies, Iola Williams and Miss Inez Jackson, I continue to hear these names. And I said, well, where is Miss Williams? Somebody said, I believe she moved back home. I said, well, we got to find her. I love seniors because they have invested, and if they're around, we need to sit with them and talk to them and learn from them. And that's why I put in an application to become a senior commissioner for the city of San Jose, and I am a commissioner for the city of San Jose. So today we want to give the Lifetime Achievement Award to a woman who has dedicated her life of service. And even when she went back to where she was from, she had contacted the mayor there when he was trying to tear down a building, and she told him that he shouldn't, it was historical. She went down doing what she does best, and that is lead and serve for people. But what she doesn't know is that the Lifetime Achievement Award is being renamed after her today. So I believe in giving you your roses while you are alive. Your work was not in vain. Young people such as myself remember you. And the Iola M. Williams Lifetime Achievement Award is presented to Miss Iola Williams. She's here.
They gave me 3 minutes. It took me 10 minutes to get about that scene. And these are some of my children. And I have some more over there. I think they're ashamed to come up. But it's okay, y'all can come on up. Because I couldn't have done the job that I did if they weren't supportive. Yeah. I know that those of you who do not know me were kind of expecting a speaker, Iola, to be dynamic enough to dazzle you, witty enough to amuse you, inspirational enough to cheer you on to lofty heights, intelligent enough to impart wisdom, youthful enough to add zest and vitality, famous and could draw a crowd. Well, Oprah Winfrey was busy. I didn't know what I was going to say. I really didn't know what I was going to say. It took me long enough, so long to just think of a topic that I wanted. Yet finally yesterday, it came to me what I wanted to say to you. The first thing that I want to say to you is thank you so very much. I've been ill for a while, and you don't know how this has just pumped me up and made me where I could move better and believe that I'm going to get better. So that's all I say about that, because I know that all of you will be praying for me, and I would appreciate that. They talked about what I did. I was crazy enough to do all that for $400 a month. That's what our salary was when I first went on council. But my husband says, that's okay, you have to give me $200 for babysitting. But I'm just gonna, I just want you to know something about my family and something about me. I don't brag, I get things done. So this is not bragging. I just want you to leave here knowing that it took more than me to do it. It took my husband and these kids and the rest of my family and the rest of you. How many of you were here when I was in office? Quite a few, quite a few. Because most of the time I ask somebody, do you know Iola Williams? They said, no. And they were here. Okay. They'll say, no, I didn't know her. And, what I'm presenting now, as I say, is not a brag, it's fact. And it's a testimony to the grace of God. And a testimony to Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement. There is a lady in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and her name is Iola McCarty. She was a little thing like this, about that tall. And not only was she about that tall, she washed people's clothes to make a living. There was a sick member in their home when she was a girl in school, so she could go no further than 6th grade. But she gave $150,000 of the money that she had made for washing other people's clothes to the University of Southern Mississippi for black students who need scholarship and to do. So I wanted to tell you about her because my grandmother washed people's clothes just like she did. And my grandmother assured that my mother received her education. My mom taught for 40 years in the segregated black schools in Mississippi. You're too helpful now. But I recall being a little girl, and my grandmother would take me on vacations. And we'd pack up our suitcase, and we'd pack up our lunch, and she'd put a little shoebox and put a ribbon on it, and we would be off and going. So we got on the train, and go to the colored section of the train. The reason they put you up there is the cinders would come in, to the train, because where they heated the stuff to get the water boiling and everything, it produced that. So we had to sit up there. And when you got where you were going, there's a little cold specks on your clothes, but that's how we got there. And I'm not going to tell you about, the things that you already know about. But to my grandmother, that trip was a long trip, 100 miles to New Orleans. And my grandmother nor my mother could imagine some of the things we're going to talk about for just a minute. They wouldn't have imagined that as an elected officer, I would be traveling on economic missions for the area. And I've been to the People's Republic of China, Japan, Germany, France, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary. And I represented the American cities in Paris and Belgium on, what do you call it, all the new stuff that's going. They were real busy with it, and we were busy with it too, so we all came together and discussed issues around those for all the cities in the United States. My grandmother never voted. She didn't have a chance. She really didn't know what voting was all about. You know, when people don't know something, they don't know to do anything about it. They thought only white people could vote, should vote. Okay? But that was the way it was during that time. My mother didn't live to see me go to the school board. She saw me get placed on the city council in San Jose, and she was so proud. She had her little walking cane, and she come when we had a special program like the big alumni association, and she would come to stuff like that. And that said a lot for my mother to go to those kinds of things, because she had other busy things to do. Imagine their surprise if they knew that one of their descendants would be the 6th class to have women in it from West Point, United States Military Academy. There was another girl. I hope you saw that that was a girl. There was another one who attended the Naval Academy.
Be Navy.
One is an accountant, a social worker. She's not here. A police officer. 2 contractors. He likes to be known as a journeyman electrician. There's one that had a job that took her to South Africa about every couple of months. I've got one big South African hats and a whole bunch of stuff like that. Thank you from God. Okay. There is no doubt in my mind that it takes a village to raise kids. And when I talk about us, if you taught a Sunday school class, if you taught school, if you did any of those kinds of things, you affected the lives of these young people. Now, about anybody younger than 20 in here, will you stand up? Okay, come on, don't talk, stand. I wanted you to hear this, and I figured if you sat down, you would talk. So everybody be quiet and let them listen, okay? To raise a child, I say, like the Boy Scouts motto, gentlemen, be prepared. Like the Army, be all that you can be. Like the front tags on the cars, if you can't run with the big dog, stay on the porch and know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Like the old high school football cheer, hit 'em a lick, harder, harder. And I don't mean slapping, I mean whatever is challenging you. Hit 'em a lick, harder and harder. And when life throws you a loop, get up and try it all over again. Dr. King and the civil rights movement empowered all of us in all of our villages, enabling all of us to have the achievements that we had. And because I used my family, I was talking about you too. And think about that. And make your life a good life. And if it gets bad, fall down on your knees and pray. And remember, there was a woman, a black woman, who was on the committee that tried, what's his name? The president who was removed from office. Nixon. Nixon. I've forgotten his name that quickly. That was a black woman who was on that committee. And her name was Barbara Jordan. And she was from Texas. And when you talk about a speaker, that woman could speak. She'd lift you up in her hands when she was talking to you. And then when she finished, she did chill. Yeah. But she made a statement to a group of us who were involved in politics. And she said, all that we are because of the United States of America. And all that we are in spite of the United States of America. And I go to every meeting and I hear people singing the Black National Anthem and don't know the first verse, and I always got to put paper in front of them. When I was in third grade, I could every verse there are 5 verses, but only 3 are usually used. Learn your national anthem. Put them in there. Now, may the road rise to meet you with the sun always at your back. And I hope you're in heaven 2 weeks before the devil even knows you're dead.